So the next thing I want to talk about, what message were they sending with how they, put forth this show, right? So the Democrats, it was an all virtual show. You had the leader of the convention. I think he's a representative from Mississippi or something. He had the gavel and the desk and all that stuff, but he was like away from everyone else, right?
Mm.
And then you had all the speakers, doing video conferencing, and basically some of the speeches were pre-recorded. I think Michelle Obama's was one of the pre-recorded speeches.
I think Obama's was too, because Obama's kind of looked like a bit like a Barack Obama, looked kind of like a video.
Right, like the production value and all that stuff.
Different angles and all that stuff.
Yes, yeah. So some of them were pre-recorded. I know some of them were live. I know the Bernie one was live because there was like a hot mic moment that was pretty funny.
What happened on the hot mic?
Just him asking his wife if there's anything in his teeth or anything. It was endearing. Yeah. So it was all about understanding the climate under which we are. Obviously we're in the era of COVID. People are trying to do things normal while adhering to the new normal and keeping people safe by being distanced and all that stuff. And anytime there were multiple people in close proximity, they would have masks on. That was the message they're sending. Juxtapose that with the Republican National Convention. I think I started the video by talking about how on the Monday morning they did the roll call. Bunch of people in there, not a mask in sight. And then on the night of Melania's speech, they did it in the Rose Garden. Bunch of people, and I think I saw maybe one mask. The night of Pence's speech, they did it in Baltimore. Bunch of people, no mask. Trump's speech, Rose Garden. Bunch of people, no mask.
There was one mask.
Oh, yeah, right. There was that one mask. It was like a nurse's mask.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't even that. Is actually because I noticed it when they showed the Border Patrol cowards. I mean, the Border Patrol police officers who were there was one lady who had a mask, which I thought was hilarious because she's over there clapping and saying thank you, for helping me, lock up children, but you're still wearing a mask. So obviously you do believe in this, but you just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
To me, that was hilarious because there's always that one person in there without the mask, and it's just kind of hilarious. I'm like, you're over here.
The other thing I wanted to touch on was in regards to the mask thing and the not following CDC guidelines. There was also the blatant violation of the Hatch Act. And I'm gonna describe the Hatch Act not very, not in section this code whatever, because my other laptop has gone dark.
Do it in layman terms.
But in layman terms, basically, it says that you're not allowed to use public property or public entities, taxpayer entities, for political purposes or for political gain. And from night one, that's all they did. It's literally all they did. Especially speaking in front of the White House, using the White House as your personal campaign spot. The very end there, going back to the discussion of family, where you had the whole Trump family line up in front of the White House. He's like pointing back. He's like, we have this. This is we're on home turf, basically. And what I got from him with that and with the mask thing is, what are you gonna do about it? Right? Like no one can stop us. Everything we do, our party just says, hey, it is what it is. And the whole thing was pretty sick to me. It was pretty disgusting. Like how blatant they are now about just destroying norms, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's crazy how they talk about, they try to, well, first of all, they use socialism and communism interchangeably, which I find hilarious, obviously. But they do try to point this whole communist thing, but yet you're kind of doing communist-like things when you're, you're basically saying like you're acting dictatorish in regards to that kind of stuff, right? You wanted the greatest military parade, like your second year of presidency, which is very, when you see images of Hitler and images of communist or North Korea, when you see, like, you know what I mean, you see those images of the big old military parades where they're all saluting their the leader and all that stuff, and it's just it's been disgusting. Mm-hmm. It's been nasty since they've done it. Obviously, this man has absolutely no prohibition. I mean, not prohibition. No, they're not. They don't prohibit themselves mm-hmm. from engaging in these type of activities, engaging in nepotism. Any other presidency, nepotism probably would have been completely attacked. And I feel like it's the media kind of not even bothering dealing with it, because they're kind of probably like, well, shit, there's nothing happens when we make a big fuss about this.
But it wasn't even that long ago when George Bush was running in 2000, and people were like, oh, what are we, some kind of monarchy where we have his father be president and then we're going to elect him too?
And that's actually one of the reasons why I think Hillary lost against Barack Obama. And in 2016, I kind of feel like a lot of people, which I thought was ironic, because you're voting this guy who just literally the first thing he does is put his family in, and then not only that, but he's still making himself rich in his own personal businesses, and nobody's making enough of a fuss about it,
Right. So so America has always been about, we're not about installing dynasties, political dynasties, but this party seems content with it now. It's like, it's okay, it's no problem. So it's so basically the Democrats were like, hey, this is what the CDC says, we're going to do it this way. The Republicans, they're like, we do whatever we want and you're not going to do anything about it. So
do you think and this is just you in regards to your nerdy ways of being able to break down things in regards to how they might affect, like a script affects a movie, certain cinematography. Do you think it affected them in a positive way, doing this via pre-recordings, doing this via, because I'll tell you one thing that I did like about it. Uh-huh. Their speeches were clean.
Yeah.
Meaning you don't hear the audience clapping and having them to stop. Because the thing that got on my nerves with Donald Trump's speech was that they kept giving, first of all, is this a State of the Union?
Hold on. Yeah, don't talk about that just yet, because we are going to get into the individual speeches.
Yeah.
But I completely get what you're saying about, the no audience versus the clapping. It's like going from watching single camera comedy back to the comedy with like laugh tracks and stuff. Yeah, it's jarring.
And this is why I said he'd have a nerdy.
So anyway, but I can't take credit for that comparison. I heard it somewhere else too. I was like,
okay.
that makes sense. All right, that was the social distance versus no CDC guidelines section. All right.